Yes, my dudes. I'm Alex, and thanks for checking out another beat breakdown. For the last 3 weeks, I've been on my own little personal mission to put out a video each week on the 3 drummers who have influenced me the most. So 3 weeks ago, I put out a video on Yusuf Days. Then last week, I put out a video on Mark Juliana. And today, we're finishing off my own little personal trilogy with Richard Spaven, and I'm stoked that you were all there to join me for it. The track we're going to look at today is a new release from Richard Spaven and Sandunes. It's called Tree of Life, and it's actually on an EP which dropped today, so it's pretty good timing for the video. Let's have a little listen to how it sounds, and then we'll see if we can break it down. Banger, mate. So we're going to focus on the intro groove, which also happens to be the outro groove to the track. And it's got some pretty mad timings in there, so it's going to be a good opportunity for us to talk about approaching playing in odd time signatures. So our groove consists of a bar of 9/8 and a bar of 7/8. And the reason that it still has a natural feel is because 9 add 7 equals 16, which is a multiple of 4. So overall, it still fits inside that steady 4/4 pulse. But to be really honest, I find it much easier to just think of a bar of 9/8 and a bar of 7/8. So first things first, we need to get the feel down. So what we're going to do is break it down into its simplest form and just play 8th notes up on the hi-hat, and then we'll talk about some cool stuff that we can do with it. Alright, so bar 1 of our groove is in 9/8. Now, not everybody might have played in 9/8 before, but I'm sure that most of us have played in 6/8. So the first thing we're going to do, to get the right feel, we're just going to play a classic bar of 6/8. 8th notes up on the hats, bass drum on beat 1, snare drum on beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jump onto your kit, see if you can play along with me. Cool. The next step, we're just going to chuck a couple of extra bass drums in there. That's going to give us the count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's give it a go, mate. We got the right feel down, so all we're going to do now is stick 3 cheeky little 8th notes onto the end. You're going to play your bass drum on beat 7, your snare drum on beat 8, and your bass drum in between the hi-hat on the 16th note after beat 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the bare bones of bar 1, so let's move it into bar 2, where we're going to change time signature from 9/8 into 7/8. So 8th notes up on the hi-hat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got our bass drum on beat 1 and beat 5, our snare drum on beat 3 and beat 6. And for now, it's a pretty straight ahead groove, so let's give it a go. So if you can play bar 1 and you can play bar 2, let's stick them both together. And remember that for now, we're just getting the right feel, and once we got this down, we'll start to make it sound a bit more like the track. Smashed it, my dudes. So now we've got it feeling right, we can expand on a groove. And it's always a bit of a challenge to teach a track that's so heavily improvised. So what I've done is I've written out one version of the groove with some variations that Spaven frequently plays throughout the track, such as taking hi-hats out to make that hi-hat pattern a bit more syncopated, or adding 16th notes in there, either on the hats or on the snare drum. Now I can't stress this enough. This is not the only way to play this groove, so definitely go and have a listen to the whole track so you can really soak in some of Spaven's playing. But for now, I'm going to play the variation that I've written out so that we can hear how it sounds, and afterwards we'll have a little chat about another way that we can approach playing in odd time. Nicely done, mate. So now we've got a little variation to mess around with, we can start to improvise with it. And although it's great to use the counting methods, to first get used to the feel, from my experience in playing in odd time signatures, I've always found it best to listen to the song and try and listen past the drums and really focus on what the other musicians are playing and try and lock in with what they're playing to turn it into a musical phrase in your mind rather than strictly following the counting. So in this track, we've got that strong synth line, which not only marks out the start of each bar, but it also gives us some rhythms that we can either play with or against to create some interesting phrasing of our own. This is going to take some practice if playing in odd time is new for you, and it's something that I'm still working on myself. But what you'll find is the more times that you play a track, the more you'll just be able to hear it as a piece of music rather than thinking about how to count each bar. Something that you can try out is go and buy the song on iTunes and stick it into any music software and just loop around the intro. In the intro, we've got the same synth line, but without any drums. This is going to give us total freedom to improvise over the form. Now, none of us are Richard Spaven, so there's no right or wrong here as long as it sounds cool. So just experiment and see what you can come up with. There we go, mate. A super fun one to get creative with. Let me know how you're getting on with the groove. To show me your vids, you can tag me up on Instagram at @DrumHubTuition. If you're digging the videos, hit the button to join the Wednesday crew, man, and feel free to leave a track recommendation for the Drum Hub Jukebox playlist down in the comments below. I'll see you next week.